Imagine being raised your entire life believing you're human, only to wake up one day and discover you're not. This actually happened to a chimpanzee named Lucy, and what they did to her is one of the most disturbing experiments in history.
The year is 1964. A psychology professor and his wife make a decision that will change everything.
Maurice and Jane Temerlin adopt a 2-day-old chimpanzee infant and decide to raise her as their own human daughter. They name her Lucy and treat her exactly like a human child. No cages, no restrictions, just complete integration into human society. She sleeps in a human bed, wears clothing, and even sits at the dinner table with the family every single night. But it gets even stranger. Maurice teaches Lucy to communicate using sign language, and she learns over 120 signs. For 11 years, Lucy lives as a human. But then the Temerlins make a decision that will destroy everything they created. To understand what happens next, we need to go back to the beginning and understand why the Temerlins did this in the first place. The 1960s was an era obsessed with the question, how much of human behavior is nature versus nurture? Maurice Temerlin believed that if you raised a chimp in a completely human environment, she would essentially become human. This wasn't just curiosity. Maurice wanted to prove that humanity was learned, not innate, and Lucy was going to be his evidence. And for the first few years, the experiment appears to be working beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Lucy learns to use the toilet, brush her teeth, and even dress herself in the morning, just like any human child. She flips through magazines, looks at pictures, and even appears to show preferences for certain images over others. But the most shocking behavior Lucy develops is this. She learns to mix and drink gin and tonic cocktails, becoming genuinely fond of alcohol. To visitors, Lucy seems almost human, charming, intelligent, and eerily familiar in her mannerisms and behaviors. But as Lucy grows older and stronger, cracks begin to appear in the perfect experiment. By the time Lucy reaches adolescence, she possesses the strength of 5 grown men and weighs nearly 100 pounds of pure muscle. The Temerlins begin to realize they can no longer control Lucy, and she's become too powerful, too unpredictable, and potentially dangerous. In 1977, after 11 years of raising Lucy as their daughter, the Temerlins make the devastating decision to send her away. Their plan is to relocate Lucy to a chimpanzee rehabilitation center in Gambia, West Africa, where she can learn to live in the wild. But there's one massive problem. Lucy has spent every single day of her 11 years living as a human, with 0 survival skills for the wild. The Temerlins hire a graduate student named Jonas Carter to help with the transition, and then they leave Lucy in Africa and return to America. Lucy doesn't understand why her family abandoned her. She keeps waiting for them to come back, signing the words for home and mama over and over. Jonas Carter realizes she is facing an impossible task, teaching a human-raised chimp to survive in the wild before she starves to death. Lucy refuses to eat the local vegetation, doesn't know how to climb trees properly, and shows no interest in other chimpanzees. Jonas makes a radical decision. If Lucy won't adapt to the wild, then Jonas will live with her in the jungle full-time until she does. For months, Jonas endures brutal conditions with no electricity, no water, and relentless disease, all to teach Lucy survival. Slowly, painfully, Lucy begins to change. She starts eating wild foods, climbing trees, and showing interest in the other chimps. After nearly 3 years of dedication, Jonas finally sees Lucy integrating with a wild chimp group and displaying natural behaviors. In 1979, Jonas makes the heart-wrenching decision that Lucy is finally ready. It's time to leave her completely alone in the wild. Jonas returns to America, believing Lucy has successfully transitioned to life in the wild and will live happily with her new chimpanzee family. But in 1987, 8 years later, Jonas receives devastating news that will haunt her forever. Lucy's body is discovered near the camp. She never fully integrated and was found dead, possibly killed by poachers. The tragic truth is that Lucy was caught between 2 worlds, too human to survive in the wild, but too chimpanzee to ever truly be human. Maurice Temerlin's experiment to prove nurture over nature had catastrophic consequences. He created an identity crisis that Lucy could never escape. Jonas Carter has spent decades working in primate conservation, but she's stated that Lucy's story is the one that still breaks her heart. Lucy's life raises an impossible question. Do we have the right to fundamentally alter another being's identity, even with the best intentions? The story of Lucy Temerlin isn't just about one chimpanzee. It's a haunting reminder of what happens when we play God with another creature's life. Today, Lucy's story has become a cautionary tale in psychology and primatology courses around the world. Laws have since been enacted that make experiments like this illegal, but they came too late for Lucy. Sometimes love isn't enough to undo the damage of fundamentally changing who someone is meant to be.